Okay guys, originally I was going to script this, but I feel like it would be a lot funnier if I didn't. Because if you guys have seen the first video I did on this, it was pretty fun. I enjoyed doing it. It's always fun to make fun of Verlisify, because he acts like a man baby. So it's always fun to poke at him and respond to his videos like this. So anyway, let's get into this slander. For those of you who don't know, the video I'm reacting to is a continuation of the one I reacted to last time. He made a follow-up. I wanted to make a follow-up a while ago, and I just never got around to it until now, but hey, better late than never, right? So sit tight, grab you some popcorn, grab you a coffee or something, I don't know, whatever you like to drink, and enjoy the show.
It looks like there were a few things I missed with the story about the Survivor contestant admitting to hacking Pokemon on the show. Yes, that happened, and if you missed the story, please watch my other video about it. Also like, comment, and share, especially that video, because we can't let this story die. It's unbelievable, it's insane.
Okay, so we're already gonna run into some issues here for Verlisify. So y'all remember I covered the precursor video to this. It was pretty much nothing but slander. So Verlisify, why do you not want this situation to die down? Because all you really did was slander people and run other people through the mud and try to ruin their careers moving forward because you couldn't get yours off the ground. I'm gonna be like very blunt. You're just mad because you couldn't get your own competitive career off the ground. So you're trying to stop other people from getting theirs started. And honestly, that's a pretty scummy thing to do.
But there was a bit more to Wolf's tweet about this. So I talked about how he said, I heard the word Magirna, gamers rise up, completely ignoring the rest of that where he said, yeah, I pay people to hack my Pokemon. That's probably something that needs to be talked about, but Wolf is just a bad actor. But the reason why he was watching is he says, my friend Austin is on Survivor this season, so I've been watching, but I was not prepared for the whiplash this gave me. And then he replied, bro, we talked about you that day excessively. Even with how much I've covered about the Pokemon community being ill, there's still no way. There's more to Pokemon than Wolf Glick, and what can you even excessively talk about? How he got blown out day one worlds back to back? That time that he faked the misplay and then made the funny face? Like, that's kind of it. Other than that, it's like, oh yeah, he hacked a Raichu to win worlds, and then he went up against Ray Rizzo with both having hacked teams in Generation 5 for Worlds Finals.
Alright, so really starting it off strong here, aren't you, Verlis? The Pokemon community is not ill. Rather, there are ill actors in the community, you included, okay? And as I stated in my last video before we go down this rabbit hole, for those of you who did not see my last video, I do not use hacked Pokemon. Actually, when I play ranked or competitive or do any sort of tournament, every Pokemon I use is something I caught myself. So I don't respect cheating in competitive environments. However, like I said last time, if it's in casual, who the hell cares? Nobody, not a single damn person is going to care that you saved a little bit of time to get that shiny Pokemon with good IVs and EVs. Nobody cares. It's casual. Have fun with it. That's the whole point. And now we can move on to the personal attacks here, since he loves that. So, Verlis, you want to talk about qualifications and performance at Worlds? You never even qualified for Worlds. You lied and said that you went undefeated at a tournament, which you did not. You got your ass handed to you big time, which is why you didn't qualify for Worlds. And furthermore, you always go on about the Raichu. Did he know it was hacked? No, he didn't. He didn't know that it was hacked. That's point number one. Point number two, I don't think that was at Worlds. I think that was at a different tournament. I don't think it was at Worlds. So you're just wrong. I mean, this is just coping at this point, Verlisify. You're just coping because you're not as good as him. It's okay to admit that you're not as good as somebody. It's okay to say that you're bad at something. Am I good at competitive on Pokemon? Not really. But hey, at least I'll admit it. I won't just sit here and screech that everybody's hacking just because they're better than me.
That's all there is to Wolf. He's just a career-long liar, cheater, and thief with no real skill, which is proven because he needs to cheat. Also, just seeing this interaction feels so evil to me. Gaslighting your audience of mostly children to spin that everything is awesome in Pokemon because we got mentioned on Survivor, while deflecting that you are a proven cheater, and that there was a mention of how bad the hacking problem is in Pokemon, and not having any conversation about that, is evil. There's no other way around it.
Okay, Verlisify, you want to talk about English. You want to talk about a career of lying, cheating, and stealing. Didn't you steal someone's artwork? Don't you lie constantly and accuse people of hacking just for the simple fact that they are better than you? Isn't that something you do all the time? And yet you have the gall to point the finger at Wolf and say that he's the one who lies, cheats, and steals? Didn't you get called out a few years ago because you stole artwork off of like DeviantArt or something? Didn't you get called out for that big time? So who are you to go around and accuse somebody else of lying, cheating, and stealing when you yourself have done that exact same thing? And you want to talk about pure evil. Someone might have to check this for me because I can't quite remember. I remember hearing something about one of your fans who was terminally ill, wanting to battle you, and you ghosted them. I remember hearing something about that a few years ago, and whether or not that one's true, you told somebody to kill themselves because they disagreed with you over something related to Pokemon on Twitter. So I really don't think you're in any position to judge anyone else.
Every statement I see from Wolf further confirms he is the biggest piece of garbage in Pokemon. Completely fake, manipulates children, lies, cheats, and steals for gain. And you can also see that in his friends. That his friend is on the show, and there's two other fans of Pokemon on the show, and they're all cheaters. And that's the representation in Pokemon. And then the whole thing is like pretending that's alright. Also, this dude's like, hey, I just got exposed for hacking Pokemon. Someone admitting to hacking Pokemon and telling people how to hack their Pokemon to not get caught at Pokemon events is saying to come out to tournaments as well. Entire community is rotten, which is why I don't want this story to die, but it's just like kind of crazy. Now, this has gotten like double the views since I last covered it, but I haven't seen any more comments or anything. It's all from October 26th, then it didn't like take off any further and have anyone else respond to it, and it's mostly just Nintendo, just don't go to Japan because Nintendo, and this is also right after Nintendo is cracking down on Smash tournaments, so hopefully this whole thing becomes a disaster for the Pokemon Company as well as Nintendo, and if it doesn't, well, that's why you share my other video, and you also share my post on Twitter, which is covered in that other video.
And again, Verlis, you're just projecting. You're sitting here telling someone else that they are guilty of something that you yourself do consistently, all the time. So again, who are you to judge any of us in the community? And by the way, Verlisify, my offer from the last video I made on you, my offer, that challenge to a 1v1, that is still standing, by the way. All you have to do is reach out to me. I'm not a hard person to get a hold of. All you have to do is find some way to reach out to me. I'm not difficult to contact. You know, I have other social medias. It's not too hard to find my social medias. So again, that offer still stands. If you want to back up what you say about you being better than everyone, battle me. I am a casual. I'm not that good, but I will still take you on. And again, you're out here. I mean, it's just holy shit. You're more spiteful than I am. I mean, I am a spiteful prick, but you are worse than I am, dude. For those of you who don't know, I can be very spiteful at times. If you catch me at the wrong time, I will go out of my way to piss you off. This guy is worse than me. Okay? It is ridiculous what this guy does and what he says and what he's been doing for the last decade. It's ridiculous.
We need to make this a problem for the Pokemon Company. And then it's really weird how Chris Brown comes in, everything's fine, and it was the same thing for Worlds, that there was no statement from the Pokemon Company. There's also dozens of World competitors admitting to cheating on Twitter. But we've also seen this, where we had the Pokemon tournament officials just saying like, hey, if you know a judge follows you, don't post that you have a pirated version of the game or that you're using hatched Pokemon. Just gin them all in Pokeballs, that way you don't get caught. So the corruption runs deep. 2023 Worlds prove that there's still an insane amount of corruption, and the corruption continues as long as Chris Brown is the esports director for Pokemon, and the corruption goes even further because you can tell it's a cover-up from the Pokemon Company International versus the Pokemon Company in Japan, since when Worlds happened at Japan, we saw the biggest cheater crackdown ever.
Okay, so you just shot yourself in the foot with your entire argument there about the Pokemon Company being corrupt and allowing hacking and all this shit. You just shot yourself in the foot big time, Verlisify. If they did allow hacking and they were corrupt, why would they even go out of their way to say, oh, we know it's going to happen anyway, but don't be obvious about it if you don't want to get caught? Because let's be real, in all forms of competition, people are going to cheat. That is simply something that is going to happen regardless. And all they're pretty much saying is if you're going to, at least be original and try to seem legit. That way you don't completely humiliate yourself in front of everybody. Or rather, so you don't get witch hunted for the next decade by some degenerate like you, Verlisify. Because let's be real here, let's be real. Wolfie, that Dream Ball Raichu that you keep harping on about, he did not gen that in. He did not hack that. He traded for it. He didn't know it was hacked. So, therefore, he's not really the cheater. And as far as I'm concerned, it had legit stats, a legit moveset, everything. So, really, at the end of the day, he had no advantage using that than if he were to just go and do it himself. I mean, you just shot yourself in the foot, though, by talking about all those people who got disqualified. And for those of you who don't remember this, or maybe don't know about it, I touched on this in the last part for this. Some kid got disqualified for nervously laughing because the judge asked what his pronouns were. Some kid, by the way. Some anxious, shy, ambitious kid got disqualified for being nervous. So not everyone who got disqualified was a cheater.
And then there was this thing like, oh, come play Pokemon. Now, it wasn't off the back of all the survivor attention, but again, the timing kind of weird about, it's like, oh, competitive Pokemon is getting attention. Let's talk about competitive Pokemon. This was talking about like prize pool for esports and how, you know, the heart of esports is gone because it's not just 1,000 people in a room trying to make a couple bucks anymore. It's the millions of dollars in prizes that mean we lost something in esports. And then Chris Brown's like, hey, look at this. We got all these people playing in a place again. Come play Pokemon. Completely ignoring what's going on. And going through Chris Brown's other posts, I found this, a retweet of played a box draft side event at regionals and it was fun. And the last time we saw a side event at regionals that was some kind of like alt fun format, it just turned out all the Pokemon were hacked. And, oh yeah, this is the same thing. So, very curious about this for locals. Does one person have all the Pokemon on their account and then makes rentals out of them for the players? Yeah, play the champs. It's the same thing. So, even though it was confirmed that this tournament organizer's side events use hacked Pokemon, and Chris Brown retweeted them the other time, which is how I found out about it, they're still hosting events, they're still followed by Chris Brown, and they're still doing side events with hacked Pokemon. Judge has a box of Pokemon, little cards represent each one, you draft the cards, and then Judge makes rental teams for each player. Player docks into Hori stands for downloads of the teams, and then you are all set. And Chris Brown's like, wow, this is great for Pokemon, that it's all hacking. It's so disgusting. Pokemon VGC just gets more fake and corrupt every day. And you can all see this with like Cybertron desperately like trying to make storylines and narratives about all these cheaters and stuff, and how the Pokemon community is deflecting from the whole cheating thing and just saying like, hey, but Pokemon on Survivor, we made it, even though we're already the largest franchise in the world.
And again, he's literally proving my point that he's just spiteful. He is spiteful, he is a narcissist, he cannot stand being wrong. Why do you have such an issue with people having fun? Okay, if it's not an official tournament, as I stated multiple times, if it's not in a competitive setting, and it's not like an official tournament, then just shut the fuck up. I know it's like a really hard thing for you to do, Verlisify, but here's what you can do to make this community a better place. You can just stop talking. I mean, you go off over the smallest thing, attack random people on Twitter, because you have nothing else to do. You have nothing else going on, nothing more interesting that you could be doing. I mean, dude, you seemed happy when you were doing the Pal World videos. What happened to that? I thought when you started doing Pal World content, you would have, like, kind of moved on and started having fun. But no, you're still doing the same bullshit that you have been for the last 10 years with dragging everybody through the mud just because they disagree with you, and that's wrong. I'm sorry, but that is just wrong.
That's why you got to share these stories if you want anything to get better inside of Pokemon. But at the same time, this happens, and the Pokemon community is so toxic, they just dissolve all of the bad out of the story, and then that's it. And like I said, I was trying to like go through the post, see like what happened, if there was any more tension, if anyone had anything else to comment, but not really. It's just kind of the same things over and over. Best scene ever talking about Pokemon, even though it ended with cheating, and then everyone's either like, Nintendo, this is amazing, add me on Pokemon Go. Oh, Rosemary Kelly, one of the casters for Pokemon. My jaw dropped to the floor. Thanks for a great season so far. But the hacking problem, that's not why your jaw dropped to the floor. You were just excited to hear Pokemon because everyone is fake and corrupt. And it further shows that it's well over 90% of the Pokemon community that cheats and hacks their Pokemon and then doesn't care about it, but they also will lie about it. That's the crazy thing. I keep asking this question, and not a single person can answer. If there's nothing wrong with cheating, then why does Wolfie lie about it at every opportunity, or deflect, or not address it at all? Same thing for all, well, I was about to say all the other competitors, but now a lot of them know they can get away with it, so they will, and even with that, Wolf still isn't doing it because he's the face of Pokemon, and that looks bad, and he also has manipulated his child audience into thinking that, oh, he's completely legit, through all of his lies about him not using cheated Pokemon.
Verlisify, I hate to break it to you, but the only one being toxic here is you. You are actively going out of your way to target and harass people who simply have a common interest. I mean, holy shit, you're in the same community as us, dude. I mean, this is crazy. Aren't you in your 30s or some shit? Like, grow up, dude. I'm 20, but like, dude, grow up. Aren't you in your 30s or something and you're still on about this? I mean, that's just ridiculous, dude. Why are you so anti everything the community is passionate about? It doesn't make any sense. You're sitting here going on this tirade about how everyone's a cheater and no one calls it out and da 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 da. Dude, the reason people are not sitting here and calling him out for cheating is because it's not as big of a deal as you're making it out to be. I hate to break it to you, Verlisify, but very few people actually care that much about people cheating in their Pokemon. Very few people actually care that much. And this is proof. Read the room, okay? You are very clearly wrong. Read the room.
I've never seen anything like this, where the corruption is so thick, but it's also all built on a lie that is easily proven, and it just feels so delicate at the same time. Like, somehow, this isn't able to break through, but if anything actually came out about Wolf and made it into the mainstream beyond my coverage and got a lot of attention, and then people, like, actually cared about it, it would be completely over in an instant. It's the most unbelievable amount of mass toxicity and derangement keeping this glass house from shattering, and it just further proves that the Pokemon community deserves nothing, especially VGC. It all deserves to come crumbling down before anything can get better, but these people are so invested in the lies, so invested in these bad actors and the evil, that they lose everything if their house comes shattering down as well. And it's gotten this bad because I'm just some dude that said cheating is wrong, and they lose everything if they acknowledge that fact.
Okay, so I'm not gonna completely go off the rails here, like I kind of want to, but Verlisify, let me start out by saying you've built your entire career off of lying and slandering other people. You have lied, cheated, and stole your way to the top. And not even to the top. You did a sloppy job at that too. I mean, dude, when is it going to stop? When are you going to understand and realize that people do not like people like you? You sit here and slander people, accuse them of cheating, tell them to end their own life because they disagree with you, and then you play victim? No, you can't do that. It does not work that way, Verlisify. You can't do that. I hate to break it to you, but that's not how the world works. I mean, you're being very tone deaf right now, is the best way I can word it. You are being extremely tone deaf.
And then just crazy stories like this happen, but then they also fizzle out because, again, like, this is also just kind of showing, like, yeah, the Pokemon community is completely fake. We get all of these views, double the views, but then no extra comments, no more discussion or real engagement. Like, again, like, nothing else to add to this, and, like, it was amazing. Wow, Masuda Method, add me on Go. Nothing deep here, because, like, yeah, again, Pokemon's largest franchise, so, oh, someone's a fan on Pokemon and it made it on national television. I guess we've got, like, those Simpsons references. Like, they feel cool. But now, when it's just like, at the very end of it, you have the admittance to hacking, and everyone has to pretend that just never happened, even though it happened on national television. This kind of shows, like, yeah, there's actually nothing to take away from this, except proof that the Pokemon community is more toxic and corrupt than we thought. Awesome. Hope you guys enjoy the video, even though that's kind of difficult with how negative everything is. And then people blame me for that negativity, even though I'm just covering the truth of what's going on. It's all toxic, so hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.
Again, for someone who likes to throw around the terms toxic and toxicity, you are very toxic. You are sitting here acting like, oh, it's no big deal, nobody cares if he was hacking, no one's doing anything, ooh. When in actuality, because that made air and because that went viral, he cannot compete in official tournaments. Now, you understand that, right? He cannot compete in official tournaments. He will never make it to Worlds. Partly because of you. Partly because of you, Verlisify. If you guys watched the last part, you would know that. Again, this going viral is a career-ending, it's a career-ending situation. And as much as I want to say I feel bad for the dude, you can't just admit to hacking and then say you want to go compete. That's not how it works, unfortunately. But again, he Verlisify just likes to spread all this negativity in the community, when in actuality, we're all trying to come together and make something positive. We're trying to be positive as a community, and Verlisify comes along and has to throw a wrench in that. And now more and more people are starting to call him on his bullshit, which is good. It's very good. So, with that being said, he did his outro. I will now do mine. If you like this, please share this message instead of his. Don't give him any more fucking engagement. But if you like this video, share it, subscribe, comment, let me know if y'all think I missed anything, or if you agree with anything I said. Or hell, even if you disagree, go ahead and comment. Because unlike Verlisify, I'm not going to block you just for disagreeing with me. So with that being said, have a nice day guys. I'll see y'all next time.